Sunday. Side by side at the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Chris Switzer and Ray Carino calls them as they sees them, and you better believe them. Here! Relevant news, biased opinions, and outright bullshit regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gasp at mechanical trickery never before revealed over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrill to the explosive tension as Chris and Ray cuss each other down the track and barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands with the devil. All that and much more this Sunday at high noon on the Motormouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and live feed, Chris Switzer and Ray Carino. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free. Every Sunday at noon on WHPC. Take the Long Island Expressway to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the sign saying no parking on the expressway and no express service on the parkway. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes Pit Pass. Sunday!
Might have been a long time since you rock and rolled, but today you can do it with the masters on Motormouth Radio. Your hosts, Ray Guarino, Chris Switzer, and a whole cadre of crew we have behind us doing this great radio show on 90.3 WHPC, the winner, by the way, of some very prestigious events this past weekend. And Chris, how are you? You with me? You're there.
Doing well, Ray. Having a good time today. Very exciting show. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be a part of it. Glad to see you. Glad that our microphones are working. That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Here I am in Basement Central, joining you as usual, and I'm counting the days until we get some sort of 50 to 60 degree weather. I am very anticipating such warmth.
You know how you do it?
I already went outside to take a look. I already did a rodent check of the car.
You know how you do that? You watch the weather to see what it's going to be like down here where I am, which is south of you, and then count about four days or 3 weeks later, and then you'll get it, because for some reason the Long Island Sound is a weather barrier.
You're absolutely right. I know down by you, it's whatever it is, I always subtract 5 degrees from whatever you are.
Yeah.
So if you're 60, we're 55. If you're 70, we're 65. It's usually the case. Yeah, the sound has definitely something to do with it. But I went out there and I walked around the old 300 and just kicked the quarter panels to see what would run out.
Nice.
Because that car, I've come to realize, that car was a rodent haven before I got a hold of it.
Yeah.
Or either a rodent, some sort of rodent, some sort of squirrel. I find acorn nuts in that car constantly.
Wow.
Constantly. I still find them. When I took the fender away to work on that power antenna debacle that I did the last couple of months, I swear to you, at least a half a dozen of them fell from the bottom of the fender. From the bottom of the fender. Just pull the fender away, put up, they all fell down. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding. How many acorns are in this car?
Well, I tell you what, you may have woken Uncle Rocco, but we also woke up the phone callers because we have one. So
nice. Calling us at 516-572-7440 on the studio line.
Right.
And not on the 516-256-9510 basement line.
No.
Let's go to those phones.
So we'll say, hello, caller, you're on with the Motor Mouths, and please turn down your radio.
I am so excited. I got through to you guys. The team that is part of the team that won so many college radio awards this week, and I got through on 516-572-7440, the studio line. I'm calling to congratulate Ray and Chris and Joe D out there in electronic land that you participated and contributed to the awards your station got. Thank you, guys.
That's right. Tom from Massapequa, and you're right. This
Tom,
weekend,
that was one of the greatest promos I ever heard.
It was the IBS Media Awards, and we won the 2021 Best Community College Radio Station in the nation.
That's awesome.
As well as the Abraham and Borst overall best radio station, overall, well, that is overall in the nation. That is the one. Best morning show, best station ID, best underwriting announcement, best use of social media, and the best college radio station advisor, which is Mr. Sean Novat. We thank him for all he does for us. And we're happy to be here. Thank you, Tom.
Yes, thank
I'm
you.
happy for you guys. And I'd like to do a special shout out to Kim Tracy. I think she personally contributes a lot to the station, and I love some of the music she plays. I like her show and your show and Rob Leonard. So thank you guys. And one thing I'd like to implore your fans, I think we should inundate Ray and Chris with sending them salami or prosciutto in some way or form.
Prosciutto.
But have a great day.
Chris is a fan of the sopressata. He likes that crazy stuff with the colors in it. I'm a mortadella man myself, Tom. But
I think...
Whoa. I think you fell off your stool. Tom bounced himself right off. All right.
He pulled the cord right out. That's it.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom, for those kind words. And if there's any prosciuttogram or any supersatogram or any provolonogram.
I'll tell you what, a few years ago, Joe and I were diagnosing over the air with Tom over the course of a few weeks, a problem he was having in his SUV. With the wheel speed sensor, I
thought you were going to
believe.
say a problem he was having in his digestive system, but go right ahead.
No, that came later. So he drove here in the SUV, and Joe and I went outside, hooked up the scanners. We drove it around, did some tests, and Joe, of course, being the diagnostic wizard that he is, did figure it out. But Tom had brought us a nice box of cookies, a strudel, and there was a couple other, some biscotti and coffees. He brought coffees for us, so we had a real great fest outside. It was that's something that Motormouth Radio is kind of known for. We interact with our listeners, sure. and they interact in kind. So,
and it's something very rare in the radio business, that's for sure. But I'm glad that we're able to do it here at Motormouth Radio. And yes, with Tom is definitely. I think Bob from Rockville Center has got to. What would you say? Give the award, the Motormouth Radio Yearly Award to Tom if he hasn't yet. Yeah. Because every year he does that, right? He gives the yearly award.
I got to say, we haven't been shot at since you took a hiatus a few years ago. So that's good. We didn't have to duck into anymore in the parking lot. Now I'm starting to do it when I leave because I figured just by, abstention, I may be held accountable. That's all right. But you know what? I'll tell you something. I'm ready for it. So
you are. I know, it's frightening.
So listen, when you kicked the 300, did you wake up Uncle Rocco? Because I know he likes to nap under there.
Yeah. No, there's spider webs, but not of the large girth of Lord Bentley that used to live under the TR6. But yeah, there was a couple little bugaboos, but nothing really bad, nothing that'll bite you, nothing that was furry and that ran faster than me. So I was okay. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the warm weather. I want to light that thing up and get it out onto the driveway and have it see some sun again. It's getting to that point. Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. I want to get my car out too, but the show season, people always ask, hey, what's going to go on with the show season? And I have information that I got a flyer and email just this morning. The Long Island Cars, the show and swap meet. This is the one that was always at Belmont Park for many years. Now they can't do that because they're building a new arena. They're out at Bald Hill and the Flower Field Fairground, and also North Hempstead Beach Park. They're on for this year. They have, let's see here. Let me get on my
great.
My spectacles. Flower Field. Why don't I see date here? Okay, watch here for the 2021 spring and summer dates. So you want to keep, it's longislandcars.com. You can go on that site and you'll find the dates. And those 3 shows are already planned. Now, also, Long Island Street Rod Association. That's our buddy Vic is in that club as well as some other. We've had them on the show. We had the guys here. Sure. Their car show and swap meet is the two meets planned, just like E-Town used to be. Spring and fall. April 25th and October 10th. And that's out at Suffolk Community College, the Brentwood campus. Vendors are $35, car and driver are $15, and spectators are $8. Show times are 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., and you can go to LISRA, Long Island Streetcar Association.com, and get more information. So their plan for just, April 25th is what? It's next month. It's, what, 4, 6, 8 weeks.
And also, wear your mask, for crying out loud. Wear your mask. Be responsible, please. No coughing on anybody. You all crazy. I'm looking forward to seeing the cranky old men. And I've come to realize they're cranky old men in Long Island. Well, guess what? Up in the shows here, you know what you're going to find, Ray?
What are we going to find, Chris?
Cranky old men with old cars. You'll find them up here, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sirree, Bob. Looking forward to seeing all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? If there's a club called the Cranky Old Men, biggest club is right here in Connecticut.
There was a club that we saw at one of the meetings. We used to go to a lot of the Car Club Council meetings, and there was a club that had a name like that. They were just like cranky old guys. I forget. I don't remember where it is now. Maybe it'll come.
You sure you're not confusing them with that illustrious club called the Three Old Cranks?
Oh, yeah. Well, there was that club, too. Yeah, Three Old Cranks. That was but they did have a crankshaft in their design, so I think that was just a witty play on words.
Oh.
Hey, let me run something by you.
Uh-oh, I'm afraid.
Because you've owned a lot of cop cars in your day, and, I've only had...
I'm afraid... Yes.
I've only had 2. But
okay.
I was driving my vehicle, my street vehicle, with my satellite radio on and listening to a satellite radio signal. And I saw up ahead there was a New York State trooper had pulled somebody over on the side of the road. And are you familiar with satellite radio? When you go under a bridge or an overpass, sometimes it'll cut out for a second. There's a buffering effect, so it'll hang for a couple seconds. But sometimes it will just go out for a second when the signal.
I remember that old technology. What was it called again? AM radio.
Yeah,
used to do the same thing.
Right. But other than that, satellite is really, really solid. And like I said, it'll buffer. So you can go under. You could be stopped under a train trestle where the antenna can't see the signal, but you'll still hear the satellite because it buffers. A couple of minutes. So it's forgiving. I went past this state trooper, and I was going about 60 miles an hour. And literally, for the second that I passed him, my satellite went out. It just went out and came right back as soon as I was past him, which literally took about a second to do. And I'm like, what the heck is he running in that car? And that hasn't happened in the past. I've passed troopers on the highway plenty of times, but this time it did. And I don't know if anybody is a radio tech or a satellite whiz or a antenna guru or Pirate Paul, who would probably know what to do.
What kind of frequency was he generating? Whether a radar detector or some sort of whatever his radio, his frequency, whatever he was broadcasting or receiving, he could even be receiving something as well that interfered with your satellite stream. Yeah,
exactly.
Sure, could very well happen. Wow.
Exactly. So just want to throw it out there.
Very cool. And yes, and we are also taking those calls because Ray and I are speaking to ourselves today. 516-572-7440 is the professional studio line.
Yeah.
And you can call the basement line, which is 516-256-9510, and I will personally answer it.
That's right. Yeah, we've thrown out an invitation to Mr. Mark Warman on social media.
Right.
And he didn't respond. Last time we did that, I found that in the past that was the quickest way to get that guy's attention.
Really?
And it worked last time. This time, not so much. So...
Well, I must admit, Mark has this way of not reinventing, but adding on. I always like the fact that he adds on to whatever he's doing. He tries something new. He adds on to it. And he's been working on Facebook and stuff that I actually enjoy watching. I think he's taking a little slice from Jay Leno, if you ask me personally, because he will sit in a vehicle and kind of show you what the condition of the car. Like, he doesn't play with the dials and switches like Jay Leno does, but he kind of gives you an overall view of sitting in the car. And it's kind of nice to watch that. And he walks around the car and he starts it up. So it's kind of cool. And also kind of cool, we're going to go to the phones. We're going to go to the fun. Down here in the basement line, we're going to say, hi, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
What's up, gentlemen? Jackie John here from Florida.
What's up, my brother? How are you, sir?
It's Mr. Chassis Tiki Bar.
I'm doing fine.
Big block aficionado, the guy we want to talk to. Yeah, how's the skinks and the geckos and all the crap hanging out by the pool? Everything cool? What's going on?
Everything's cool by the pool.
Nice.
Wow, Mr. Tiki Bar himself.
It's a bright, sunny day. It's in the 80s. It's a little breezy. The flags are blowing.
John, I used to like you.
Yeah.
I used to say that you were really cool at one time.
You know, I'll tell you something. I had to reach out to John this morning because, again, you know, with our friends, I talked to a lot of guys this weekend. I was in contact with Billy Velvet, in fact, even just today, and Johnny and Dougie over at the UD. But talked to both of those guys yesterday. Johnny, 4 times. So. And I had to run something by John because Johnny picked up a 69 Nova that was an old race car that it's stickered and had been off the road since 1978.
Oh, man, if this isn't right up Jesse John's alley, I don't know what is.
So he got it with no engine and transmission, and he's going to slide in an LS7 that Dougie has, that, you know, it's a big block Chevy, a 454, with an intake on this thing that I was as I thought about it, and then John reiterated what I thought today, the carburetor sits sideways, 90 degrees turned on the intake. And I realized, John, what it is. It's a square bore carburetor, so you could mount it any way. You could mount it backwards if you wanted to, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I did.
But it's just so weird.
Yeah. I did see pictures on the internet of that carburetor mounted 90 degrees, and Dougie said that he did have linkage for that years ago. It was a belt crank affair, like with you get the rod coming out of the firewall on the old Chevys, and then there was a Heim joint that kind of like a dual quad linkage would work. So I figured John knows the obscure.
I don't know. That's kind of crazy, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of weird just having it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Unless they do it for the weird fact. I don't know. So I don't know. I'd like to get more information on it, but he's looking for Johnny's looking for maybe like a Dominator or something that because apparently that's a potent engine.
That's a Dominator that's on there already. I just don't know how big it is.
I don't know, but I think that that carburetor isn't going with the that's got other plans, I think. So he's got to get something.
Oh, okay.
So, but anyway,
very good.
Wow. So how are you, my brother?
I can't see it as being anything positive having it sideways like that, unless it's the kind that's the 1-to-1 ratio.
It would have to be,
on the primaries and the secondaries, because other than that, you're opening up fuel basically on one side of the motor, and even though it all mixes in the chamber, it still makes a difference.
You know, even with that, on the big block I had in my Camaro, I had a Tarantula, which put the carburetor at about a 45-degree angle on the intake. And the guys, you know,
they try to put the Venturis, they try to position the Venturis more directly over the port. That's why they did that twisted deal.
The interesting thing is, you know, the guy sold me the car. He said, "Oh yeah, by the way, you want this intake and carburetor that I have?" It was a 780 Holly, and 1-to-1. And I said, "Yeah, sure." And I think I got it for like $50. But he says, "I'll tell you right now, I can never get the car to run right with this on the car. It was loading up, and so I just broke out. The first thing I did is broke out the Bible, how to hot rod big block Chevys, and there is a section in there on running a Tarantula." You know, it was a well-known deal back in the day. And they talked about square jetting and stagger jetting. And what you have to do is the runners, the way the carburetor sits, like 2 of the runners are longer and the other 2 are very short. So you have to lean the short ones and rich in the long ones. And I just went by the numbers in the book as a baseline. The car ran like a rape ape. It was like, oh, hell yeah. I actually cracked the windshield on a 1-2 power shift. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
That's awesome.
That was
Holy
fun.
Smokes.
So what's up with the projects, John? I know you got a lot of metal on the rotisseries down there.
Well, not on the rotisseries yet. But,
I know.
We're cooking stuff. I'm waiting on my body guy to do all the finalized spot welding.
Right.
I was kind of hoping the car was going to be ready this week, but I just happened to see a post from him, and he's prepping his bike for Daytona Bike Week, which is this week.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So I haven't spoken to him, but I'm assuming that he's throwing the bike either in the trailer and heading up, or he's saddling up and riding to Daytona. It's about a 2-hour ride from here.
Right.
And I'm not thinking that anything's going to be done on my car this week, which is kind of disappointing because I'm really, really itching to get going. I'm very behind on this project, and through no fault of my own.
Right.
I have all of the suspension pieces and the new housing that I'm going to use here. I bent up a roll bar the other day. I bought some tubing from the local supplier, and I busted out my tubing bender, and I went back through my notes, and I kinked up the main hoop.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm ready to go. Barb keeps asking, when are you going to build this car? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? And it's not me. It's having to depend on outside sources for, labor.
Yeah.
It's always the case, right?
So little disappointment, but I'm sure it'll get done. And then as soon as he gives it back to me, I'm on it.
Well, the positive aspect is now you got that big empty garage. You can either bust out the rollerblades, the Aurora track, or the drum set. And
I was thinking about doing that, but I'm not going to.
Rollerblading on the drum set, or?
No, I like the Aurora track.
Yeah, well, a little of that too.
Yeah.
I'll leave the drums stacked up like two giant Christmas trees in their bedroom for the time.
Right. That's funny.
I'm gonna need all the room I can get in here because I'm gonna be putting the car in kind of at a 45-degree angle, which just leaves so much more room to walk around.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
And get going on it. There's a lot to do. Actually, what I'm gonna wind up doing after I get off the phone with you guys, I am going up on the shelves that are here, and I'm gonna pull out all the boxes of parts that are destined to go on the Black 81.
Okay.
And stuff that's up for sale that I got with this car. Just going to declutter. So
Good
I'm moving
idea.
all of that stuff to the new shop.
Right.
And that'll give me a lot of open space. There'll be a bunch of boxes of parts that I've already purchased and earmarked, for the other build. And I'm going to take my trusty Lenko that's sitting here on my workbench that everybody likes to see when we do the Thursday night deal, and I'm going to bring that to the other shop and put that on a shelf over there just to open up workspace.
Got it.
Good idea. Spaces of a
yeah. I'm just gonna get prepped. I figure I got today I got the rest of the. Well, today's a busy week for my other business, but I'll have some time to just go through everything. I need to mount up the other set of tires that I have that are going to wind up being used on that car. So I'll have two sets of rear tires that I can use to fit, because the tires that came with this Firebird are extremely tall. They're 34 inches tall.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Holy
really big. They're close to 1.5 inches taller than the tires I typically use, which are a solid 33 to 33 and a quarter tall.
You have to put 513s in there or something.
No, I'm only going to do, highway type gears in this car.
Yeah.
I did make some posts on Facebook. Somebody, a friend of mine, found a whole bunch of photos from Long Island Dragway from the Hamptons that he had sitting in his basement. So he scanned them and he posted them up on Facebook on a page that's devoted to New York's 231, which is where we all used to cruise and street race.
Sure.
And also Hampton Dragway. And there was actually a couple of photos of my car in there. And at one point, I let my buddy Andre actually help me with some tuning, and he made some passes on the car at the Hamptons. And like I said, he found a couple of these photos, and one of them was a straight-on shot into the engine compartment from the back of the flatbed looking in.
Yeah.
And a couple of people had mentioned, are you gonna, when you do this restoration, are you gonna make the engine compartment look exactly like this photo from back in the day? And I was kind of tossing it around. I had mounted 2 autometer gauges, an oil pressure and a mechanical fuel pressure gauge, into the upper part of the firewall. So it's not part. The gauges aren't in the car itself. They're in that open towel area, where your windshield wiper linkage runs. So it's not a safety hazard fuel wise. And I was just kind of thinking, I don't know if I'm going to do that. And I was using at the time one of those really popular Fram HPGC1 racing fuel filters.
Yep. With the orange top and the chrome.
It's an orange
top and a chrome bottom. I have 3 of them in the garage.
Yeah. I've seen them too.
So I did a little bit of searching, and you see photos of them, but it's not available through Fram, but it is available through a couple of other companies.
The filter, or the housing?
Saying, the whole housing.
Okay.
So I'm like, if I can't get one, I'll buy one of these other ones. There's a couple of other online American companies that are actually selling the exact same unit, and I'll have to try and find a Fram decal to put back on it.
Right.
The other thing was I had that big yellow and beige Excel Supercoil.
Yeah.
Now, that was mounted on the I had flattened out the firewall. That was mounted on the firewall basically where the original equipment wiper motor went.
Yep.
Oh.
Now, being here in Florida, I fully plan on putting windshield wipers in the car that I'm doing, this 70 replica.
Good idea.
And everybody's like, come on, man, you got to make it look just like that. So now what I said, okay, fine. You can still buy that Excel coil right through Summit or Jegs or any of the other companies. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And then what I'm going to have to wind up doing is I'm going to have to go to one of those cable-driven street rod windshield wiper systems.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Which they work real well. I've used them before at the chassis shop when we did a couple of custom cars. Way back in the day, we built basically a pro mod 6-second car out of a 69 Camaro with a fabricated front firewall because the engine was about 4 inches back from stock. And I used that cable drive wiper system on the 69. And we mounted the cable drive motor literally inside the car, behind the firewall.
Oh, wow.
So I have plenty of space to put the motor and do it. And it works well. And you have your choice where you can have the wipers, when they're folded down, it's one on top of another in the middle of the windshield.
Yeah.
Or you can make them so that they both point, to the passenger side, and then one faces the other. It's a matter of just orienting the actual wiper arm drive.
John, the other thing
the
other thing I had really good success with is Rain-X. You could Rain-X that, and I found that, I used to do it in a small overlapping circles, but I found if you do it in real big overlapping circles, the water kind of pulls up in bigger and bigger beads and flies off. You could do that and not even use wipers because you're probably not going to want to drive much in the rain anyway,
Well, yeah, I don't want to drive in the rain,
Yeah.
But here's the problem. In Florida, it could be absolutely sunny.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, it's a massive downpour out of nowhere.
Yeah, wait 10 minutes and that's what you have.
Yeah, guys in convertibles get wet.
Florida has we have really strange weather patterns here. I have literally seen numerous times where it's raining across the street on my neighbor's driveway, and my driveway is dry.
Yeah.
It's just... The way the rain comes down here is not like the way it does in the Northeast. It literally falls straight down.
I actually saw that when I was in Orlando. Yeah.
Yeah. You could be on the highway driving, and you'll see ahead of you that the sky is gray, and then all of a sudden, there's a hard line where the rain just starts. And then on the other end, you just literally drive out of it.
That's funny.
Very, very strange.
Just have to stop right at that line and just let it come down.
Yeah.
And then go.
they're only going to be used if we get caught and you want to, clean the windshield up.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to drive this car in the rain.
No, of course not.
Years ago, windshield wipers, I would have been like, yeah, right. Who needs that? It's not a problem. I guess as I get older, I get a little dumber and wiser at the same time.
True.
No, John, it's crankier. It's cranky. You're getting cranky now.
The drive system works well.
Good. Yes,
What did you say?
you're getting cranky. That's what it is. You're just not tolerating it anymore.
Oh, yeah, I'm cranky. Absolutely cranky.
That's because we're all turning into cranky old men. That's what we're all turning into. That's what car guys are turning into now.
You were like that at 14, Chris. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
John. So I wound up going back on the post, and I told all my buddies, I'm going to replicate the engine compartment to the T the way it was back then.
Do you have the Excel coil?
No, I don't, but I can buy one right from somebody.
I was going to say, if you want, even if you want to use a dummy, I think I have one in the garage. I think I do have one, but
yeah.
But anyway,
I was actually amazed. I just, I went online and I put in stuff, and boom, there it was. So I'm like, okay,
it was under
all the old stuff still available.
It was under the nostalgia section.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
vintage.
Right. It was under the only an old geezer would buy this.
Right.
The cranky old guys section.
Right. All right, John. We gotta run and take our break and take care of some business. So
not a problem.
Thanks for the call, brother. We'll talk to you again.
With you.
All right, we'll talk to you again soon.
Always a pleasure. Take care, John.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
The basement line, 516-256-9510. And you can call the Slick and Exotic studio line, 516-572-7440, and talk to Ray.
We do need to take a break for the SPCA mandates it, and of course that is the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Audiences. So we will take that. But first, I got to know something, because talking to Dougie yesterday at the UD, every time I talk to him, he reiterates this. He's never met you, Chris. But he says, I feel like I know that Chris guy. He's like, man, he's such a nice guy. I'm like, yeah, well, you haven't met him. But we go back and forth, and he says, but you know what? He goes, he's so funny. The guy makes me laugh. I'm like, yeah, he makes me laugh too, Doug. But
for different reasons.
For different reasons entirely. But we didn't get into that. But he did say one of the things that he loves specifically, is the honor group of the hour. So
really,
do you have one for? Because he goes, I fit every one of those categories.
Well, not to let Dougie down, of course, we have the Motormouth Radio honor group of the hour. And today, if you filled your car with more than 10 people at a time, and we're not talking about SUVs or minivans here, I'm talking about cars. If you put more than 10 people in your vehicle and got in the car and started driving, if you ever had an elbow stuck in your ear while you were on the road, or stuck anywhere else for that matter, and if you had too many appendages blocking the view that's preventing you from using a rear view mirror, and if you had, this is extra credit here, if you had the policeman having to stop you to remind you that this is not really a good idea, then if you were the individual that took the entire party home that night, you are part of the Motormouth Radio honor group of the hour, because you had a clown car.
That's a good one. And I think Doug said he had done that once or twice. So I'm trying to lower the volume. We're going to take a break. That would be hitting rock bottom. So with that in mind...
You just lowered yourself. I don't know what you did, but you just lowered yourself.
I know, because I'm getting ready for the break.
You sound like you're like way away. Bring yourself back up again.
Using a left-handed mouse is a problem, but okay.
There you go.
You may hear a little louder.
Better.
So anyway, that would be hitting rock bottom, and with that, we're gonna visit Mr. Shankar, one of my favorites from the band UFO, and we'll hear a little rock bottom. But then we'll be back in just a few minutes on 90.3 WHPC. Ray Guarino, Chris Switzer, Motormouth Radio. Keep it where you got it. Let's go.
Nature's queen,
show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Lynbrook and Oceanside, who remind you that New York State law says you always have the right to choose which shop you want to have your car fixed at. CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision offers a full range of services: 24-hour towing between Montauk and Manhattan, shuttle service, and they can help you with a rental car arrangement if needed. And yes, se habla español. More information is available by calling 516-593-0920 or visiting online at celebritychasecollision.com.
Shake off the realities of the day, broaden your musical horizons, and embrace the diversity every Monday afternoon at 5 for 2 hours of revelations. The show offers a potently unique collection of music with an emphasis on themes and rock rarities, an occasional tour de force of blues and soul, mixed with compelling sets of folk and folk rock. I'm Steve K, and I've got the perfect soundtrack for your drive home every Monday afternoon at 5. On Revelations, right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
This is Motormouth Radio, your 1-hour automotive talk show. And now, here are your Motormouths, Chris Switzer and Ray Guarino.
Yes, we are Jive Talking on 90.3 WHPC, and that is Chris Switzer on cowbell, by the way. Don't let yourselves be fooled. Live read, and he plays cowbell, too, so this man is a talent.
Not at the same time.
Boy, you never said that in 12 years of doing the show on me.
No, but I have said this. 516-572-7440. Pick up the phone. Call us, for crying out loud.
That is true.
Come on. Come on. Standing here talking to Ray.
I know.
Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go from here?
I'll tell you where we go from here. We go back into segment number 2 of Motormouth Radio, your only, Long Island's only automotive talk show on the island, here with your host, Ray Guarino, and Chris Switzer, the guy that's in that panel to my right. So... oh, wait a minute. We got to pat him up so I can hear him. Okay.
There you go. Thank you. Hello.
I'm sorry. Too many knobs. Okay. There's all sorts of new protocols here that's just changing the way things are done every day. But I didn't get to you. So we had a call. We had a call on the break. I couldn't pick up. Caller, give us a buzz back, 516-572-7440, and we'll be happy to talk to you about your automotive concerns and stuff.
I got to ask you a question. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he's looking to buy a classic vehicle, but he's also looking to retire, and it's going to be like 3 years before he retires, and he's jonesing to buy something. He doesn't know what he wants, but he wants something after he retires. And I thought to myself, the prices of these cars are not going down.
Oh, no.
Like unless you find a deal or something, So it's like now you come to that crossroads and make that decision. Do you say, do I buy something that needs 3 years worth of work, let's say in his case, or do I wait, save up more money, and then buy something a little better? And that's what would you think? Well, I mean, I know what I would do. But what would you think?
Okay, that's a good question, Chris. It's great, and I have people ask me that a lot. Well, the thing that bothers me is when you said he doesn't know what he wants.
Right, he doesn't. Well, he knows he wants something big, something GM, something.
All right, so
he wants a barge.
He has an outline. Usually people know exactly what they want; they just can't get it. So I tell people, listen, what did you drive in high school? What was your first car, or your second car, that one that you had that was maybe not the top level, a Chevelle SS or a GTX or a Mach 1. Maybe it was a Maverick, or maybe it was a 4-door Nova, or it was a Cutlass, or one of the low level models. I said, find one of those because you'll get it cheaper. And you could probably get one in better shape that's been, we have one at the shop. We have that Buick, the 70, it's a 70 or a 71. Skylark. It's a 4-door. It was a woman's car. 43,000 miles on this thing is all it has, and it's gorgeous. We're going to go to the phones, and we're going to.
Alrighty.
We'll go to the phones and say hi. You're on with the Motor Mouths, Ray and Chris.
What's up, Ray? Chris, Dougie here from the UD.
There we go.
Hey! Hey, we were just talking about you. What's up, Dougie?
That's right. I said, man, these guys are talking about me too much. I better call up. And little Joey D, text messaged me. Doug, they're talking about you. I got it on the phone.
Nice.
First of all, I want to tell Chris, the time when I saw you, you were with Joe doing a radio show, and he had the camera there.
Right.
I don't know if you remember that time.
Oh, probably
Sure
at the Malba show. We were at the car show.
No, it wasn't the Malba show. I think it was in the studio. Joe had the...
Oh, the camera. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and that's when I saw Chris. And like I said, I always feel like I know him.
Yeah.
That type of guy.
That's the truth,
I
Dougie.
almost fit in the honor group today. I'll tell you.
Tell us.
Never got 10 people in a car, but I got a 70 Corvette 2-door T-top car that I had 5 people in.
5.
So I'm halfway there.
Yeah, definitely. You know, that's got to count for a lot, because 5 in a Corvette is like having 10 in any other car. So
Yeah, it was me, my buddy, buddy, and 3 girls.
Okay.
We put one girl's legs in the compartment underneath the, where the T-tops would go if you took them off.
Yeah, in the back.
One girl's legs went that way. Another girl sat in the middle, and the other one sat on the side.
Beautiful.
And it was a little hard shifting, but
Yeah, it's all right. You make these concessions though for stuff like that. That's okay.
I love that it's a family program.
Well, I stopped there.
Yeah. Good idea.
And I also got pulled over by the cops for having a big skull head hanging off my mirror, and they made me pull it off the mirror. So I'm
Really?
halfway in.
Kidding.
Yeah.
Holy
What kind of
It was the same car.
what kind of a skull was it, Doug? What was it like? One of the plastic one, the white
A
plastic?
big one and it had orange hair. I used to call it Mary Hartman, like braided hair and everything.
Okay, because I have in my GTO, I have a shrunken head.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. I shrunken it.
Yeah, and this is because it's to me, it's my homage to Falfa in American Graffiti. He had.
Oh, I thought it was your old co-host.
And Chris hated it. So I've had it in that car since the 70s, and even my wife said the only time it came out is when I was restoring the car, and I literally had to remove the mirror, and I hung it on my toolbox. She goes, "Oh, good, you finally took that thing out." She goes, "You've had enough of it?" I'm like, "Oh no, it's going back." And
I got one of my '67 Chevelle.
oh yeah,
it's still hanging.
Perfect, and mine is still back there too. Yeah.
Yeah, but Dougie, does yours have flies going around it like Ray's does? It's got like little gnats or something.
My car sits a lot more than Ray's does, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I do get it out, but not as often as we all want. But
No.
Yeah, it's true. You count the days too, right? I'm sure.
Oh man, had enough.
Yeah.
And plus with the year we lost all our shows and everything. So
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. But you know what? The work and the projects at the UD never stop. You guys go 24/7, 365, probably 368. I don't know. You probably.
We try.
I know. It's very admirable. It's
yeah, that's for sure. I've been down there. It is an amazing place. It really is. Very impressive.
We got it. Well, as in fact, when I was talking about the Camaro with the sideway carburetor.
Yeah, I was telling John, I realized since that's a square bore carb and a square bore intake, you could put that carburetor in any one of the 4 clock positions. It doesn't have to go sideways.
But the deal that I got when I bought the motor, I asked the guy. Actually, it was in the car. I told you that 68 Camaro. Mm-hmm. I said, "Why is the carburetor like that?" And he said that the heads was sent out to Airflow Research, in Van Nuys, California.
Right.
And this is, back in the late 70s.
Right.
And they suggested that intake manifold and to mount the carburetor that way.
That's interesting.
That's what I was told.
And like John said, it is correct. You need a carburetor that has one-to-one linkage, so the primaries and secondaries open together at exactly the same time. Otherwise, you have rich and lean. You
right.
balance.
Well, that's what it was. No, that was the setup. And
right. Hey,
they ran good. The car ran good.
Oh, so. I'm sure. It's just a matter of figuring out the linkage, and I'm sure Johnny's going to be in trouble once he gets that thing together. if I know him.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, I'll give you an advance notice.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we could all chip in and get the car to impound for him. Hey, I know a guy with a flatbed. I could probably help out with that. So,
that's good.
Take up a collection.
Well, the car's got toe tabs on it, so we can always put,
Oh, good. And now we got trucks. I got a truck too, so we can actually tow the thing out of there. We'll make it work. Very good.
Yeah, one way or another.
Excellent.
Almost you got like a crystal ball there predicting the future.
Yeah.
After a while, you do it enough times, you can predict it. That's for sure.
Right.
Well, you're supposed to get smarter when you get older, but
Right. I know.
That's been the other theme of this show, Dougie. We get grumpier as we get older.
That's what I was just gonna say. I'm getting grumpy too.
Well, then you like me. You watch the clock and you watch the calendar pages fly, and you're like, wait a minute, how much more time do I have to do this when I can actually do it and enjoy it?
Exactly, just like that LS7 I wanted to put in my 67 Chevelle because I got that Pontiac motor in there.
Right.
And for years of people asking me why'd you put a Pontiac motor in a Chevy? People do it the other way. I was like, well. I had a GTO and I had a Chevelle. I had a Chevy motor and a Pontiac motor, and I crisscrossed. I did the wrong thing.
I love that. But you know what? I'll tell you, back in the day, when the 389 seized up in my Pontiac, I took it out and I put a 283 in it because that's what I had. And, it was a hot 283. I put a solid lift, a cam in it. I mean, I did a lot of wrong stuff, but it ran. And everybody got to know it. And then years later, in 79, I got a 68 GTO that I took the engine out of, the 400. And that's what's in the car now. But I put it in the GTO, but painted it Chevy orange. And my knucklehead friends thought, oh, you freshened up the paint. You still got that small block. Like, yeah, I still got the 283 in the car. Let's race. So now I just painted it black. It's like, figure it out.
Right, you figure it out.
Yeah,
the 3 carburetors sometimes give it away, but that could be on anything.
That's true. That's
sure.
True. Oh, well.
And I would never paint an engine black, Dougie.
No.
I just couldn't do it. I can't bring myself to. I had to clean a lot of the black off a lot of engines in my day.
Yeah,
I like to paint it a color.
Right.
Yeah, well, they say the black ones run hotter, so they hold the heat.
Yeah.
Black paint, but who knows?
It's the truth.
I don't know.
I just wanted to call in, say hi to you guys.
All right, Dougie.
Great show as usual. I'm always on this end, and I'll keep you posted.
Dougie, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Chris, nice talking to you.
A pleasure, my brother.
I know you my whole life, and
same here.
The show, you make me laugh all the time, man. So,
all right,
great show, guys.
you.
Congratulations on the award you won.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
All right.
And stop by sometime.
I will.
I got that parts washer for you. I got some other stuff.
Yep. We'll be in touch soon. I'll be coming your way soon.
Chris, you're always welcome, man. Come on
Thank you, my brother. I will take you up on that offer, I promise, when I'm in town. Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, keep it up. Have a good show. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Doug.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.
All right, that was Mr. Dougie.
That was great.
From the UD, yes.
Yes, good to finally hear from Dougie.
Doug
That's
runs
awesome.
the show over there. He's kind of the ringmaster, kind of keeping everybody in check.
Yes,
in
he
his side
sounds
of the
like he's
building.
the man to do it, too.
Yes, great guy. I love hanging with these guys.
516-572-7440. You can call us on the Basement Studio line, 516-256-9510. We got them both. Might as well use them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny because it's like Dougie says, he's got projects lined up. And, you even said it, Ray, like you have enough time to get those projects done before you can or cannot do it.
Yeah.
So it brings us back to, do you wait for your car and get old and not drive anything or not work on anything? Or do you buy something that's maybe needs a little work and maybe you can get it at a better price?
You have to consider everything. Like I don't know who the guy you're talking about, but you have to look at your mechanical ability. And usually when I'm having this conversation with somebody, I know a little bit about them. And I can say, hey, listen, I know that you're not the biggest wrench in the world or you don't do body work like me.
But that's the type of guy. That's the type of guy he is. He's not a. I don't want to drop any names, but he's not a super duper mechanic. He's not gonna pop an engine in and out in a weekend. But he'll spin a wrench. He's not afraid.
Well,
he'll spin a wrench.
Yeah, that's. I mean, part of the thing is knowing when to answer the phone, but also knowing when to farm something out. So let's do the first.
Yeah, let's go to the phones.
And we'll go to the phones and say hi. You're on with the Motor Mouths, Ray and Chris.
Hey, I love the honor group of the hour. Does 5 in a common gear count?
Oh, geez, Tom. That's got to be let's face it, if they're 16-year-olds, they could probably fit. You could fit 5 in a Carnegie. But if
come on, you get 5 more.
If they're 40-year-olds,
no,
man, that's tight.
Thank you, guys. Hey, listen, 2 things. One really interesting, the other just informative. First thing, 8 o'clock tonight on WHPC, you got one of your guys doing something on Don McLean. And it's an interview with Don McLean. And the name of the program is Old Country Road or something?
Oh, yeah.
You guys know anything?
Yeah, it's probably Michael Anthony, right?
I don't know. I was listening to him last night at 10 o'clock, and it was a great program he had. Yeah. I liked what he did. And then he mentioned the shout-out for Don, and he's going to really be interviewing Don McLean. I thought I'd share that with your group.
You did. Thanks, Tom. Great. There's great programming on this station, and sometimes they let us get in there, too. So,
right. Cool. I guess that's why we're award-winning.
Right.
All right. The other big thing related to the automotive field, I stumbled on a YouTube 30-minute program about a 1970 Cougar that was all black called the Ghost or the Shadow.
Yeah, Black Ghost.
I never heard of it. It was so interesting. Do you guys know anything about it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, more than we can get into right now because we're clocking towards the end of the show. But yeah, I recommend people check that video out.
It was interesting.
It was owned by, if I'm not mistaken, it was owned by a police officer and who liked the drag race.
There's 2 things. Besides watching the documentary, the 2 really interesting takeaways, that were really obscure. The car got delivered with the wrong vinyl roof. It was a gator skin roof, and he almost didn't accept the car, right? And the second thing is he tried to buy a shaker hood from the dealer. The dealer wouldn't let him order it. He sued the dealer and won, and they had to give him a shaker hood.
Yep. The shaker hood, I don't know if it's still on the car, but yeah, we'll get into depth in about that vehicle in subsequent episodes of this fine program. Yeah. But thank you for bringing that up, Tom. That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, have a great day, guys.
Thanks, Tom.
Yes, we'll talk to you soon.
So long. All right, Tom. Always a wealth of knowledge and trivia. But
it was a car that prowled the streets of Chicago, Woodward Avenue.
Yeah. So to get back, because we are running out of time, so I just want to touch a little bit more about this topic.
Sure.
Something that everybody should learn is when to hand something off to someone else in a restoration.
Agreed.
I do that with housework. I know the things I can do well. I was a plumber yesterday fixing the bathroom, and I know I can do that, so I did.
Yeah, but I'm going to be a plumber today. I understand.
I also know the things I can't do, and that's what I'll farm out. I also know we do have another call. We can take that.
Go ahead. So
let's go back to the phones and say hi. You're on with the Motor Mouths, Ray and Chris.
Hey, gentlemen, how are you?
Hey, Bob, what's happening?
What's up, Bob?
All right, so take this away. Tom calls. I'm dry during Lent.
Oh, okay.
The second call during the same program.
Yeah.
I'm so exhausted, I have to take a nap.
There you go. I think we do too.
Two calls in one show is.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Talk to you. Of course, Bob follows Tom all the time. We got to do that, yes. So, yeah, again, maybe we'll continue this next week. But
sure.
you definitely want to, there's things you can do during a restoration. Everybody knows their strengths and their weaknesses. And if it means, pulling that engine out or getting some help to pull it out and bringing it somewhere to have it rebuilt, then you do that. If you're not comfortable with front-end work or suspension work or brakes, then that's something you have to farm out. Or that's when you start calling the friends network. You get on the horn and you say, hey,
very true.
Well, hey, Johnny, get over here with that 20-pound sledge and that pickle fork. If you follow our feed, you'll see that we had a pickle fork theme on, of course, on Twitter and the web, and on Facebook, it's Motormouth Radio, and on Instagram, it's Joe's favorite reel _. Motormouth Radio.
Yes, exactly. But no, you're right. You have to know where your strengths are. And a lot of times when you have a garage, when you have the benefit of a garage and the benefit of a roof over your head, you can experiment. At least I'd like to do, and like to try different things. And sometimes if you mess it up, okay, you're in the garage. Close the garage door, walk away from the vehicle, and hopefully, like you say, you tap on the friends network and say, hey, can you come on over? I got a problem. the car is upside down. Something along those lines. I strongly, I believe, that we have different views on this. Some people say don't touch it if you don't know what you're doing. I say I can read and speak the King's language and understand other people doing that job. Let me see if I can try it.
Well, that's what I said. You got to know your buy-in and like you're an adult now, so you've gone through your teen.
Have you checked lately?
Well, but I'm saying, I know, like with friends that they call, like they you know what your friends do well and what they don't do, and they know too. So if you say, I've had this happen where a guy says, I'm gonna do the suspension, change the coil spring. It's like, you know what? You've never been near a coil spring in your life.
Yes.
So why start now when bones are fragile?
Yes,
and that's what I mean. You have to kind of pick and choose your battles with the cars, and that's just the thing. So with your friend, I would say the same thing. It may be some people want to disassemble the car and then hand it off to a body shop or to a restoration shop for metalwork. Talk with that shop and see what they say, because they may want to take it apart so they can not only document but make sure that they can get everything apart correctly and not lose stuff. Other places may say, I want the carcass, bring me the bare shell. Right. So you got to work with those people first and get that stuff all figured out. So
no, very true. And these are the decisions and the forks in the road that we're all getting to and all have dealt with.
The pickle forks.
The pickle forks in the road. Yeah, because that's what I did with the TR6. I couldn't afford anything, but I had the time.
Right.
So, and I had the garage. So I bought something cheap and rusty, and I rolled it into the garage, and over the course of years, I put it back together again and had it for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And it's like biting into a canker sore. I know, but I did.
I've had my Fiat now for like 16 years.
Holy smokes. Well, you don't get rid of anything.
No, I know.
You crack me up.
I keep the stuff I like.
Oh my gosh! Do you ever? Holy smokes!
Yeah,
it's like every time we're off air, it's like, did you sell it yet?
But you know what?
Get rid of it.
But I'll tell you, the truth to that is, like, as you have that car year after year after year, you make in the beginning I made major improvements. I pulled it apart, rebuilt major sections of it, and now after that it was a matter of just a little bit every time. Some years you don't do anything; you just drive it. But as you're doing that, the car is getting closer to what you really want to have. And unless you just absolutely hate it, then you keep it, because now you know what you have. And although I did forget when the last time was I put brakes on it. I better pull these wheels and check them, because I didn't know. I'm like, okay, time for brakes. I lost track.
Well, that's after the stage of cranky, old man cranky. Oh, yeah. Then it's old man senility. So
exactly.
You're way ahead of us now.
Exactly. So senility aside, we're going to wrap this episode of Motor Mouth Radio. We will go back and we're going to bask in the IBS winnings that the station had, Chris, and we'll be back next week for more fun and frolic. We may have a guest, may not. I don't know. What do we always tell our friends when we leave?
Don't follow us home.
Right. So for Chris Switzer, Ray Guarino, signing off Motor Mouth Radio this week. We'll be back next week on 90.3 WHPC. See ya.
See you, bye.